Hello, dear Taurus. I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your May 2021 horoscope. And let me just say happy birthday. I know some of you Tauruses are born at the end of April, so you've already celebrated your birthday, but let's just have a birthday extravaganza. Why not? And of course, the sun is in Taurus until May 20th when it enters into Gemini. So let's talk about what's happening in your world. And this can apply to Taurus sun, Taurus rising, Taurus moon. And again, just as a reminder, these are generalized. Please come to jamiedawn.com and I'll be happy to set up an appointment with you to go deeper into some of these readings and look at your natal chart, but also the intuitive pieces that may be dropping in for you. And so let's just look at what's happening here. We've got Mercury moving out of your sign on May 4th and into your second house in Gemini. On May 9th, Venus moves into Gemini, activating the second house as well. Venus being your ruler. I want to talk about the Mercury-Venus connection here, because in that second house, I just had these images as I was preparing to record this video of you beautiful Tauruses rearranging your furniture. It was like, all of a sudden the real spring cleaning time was here. I just see you moving the couch and vacuuming underneath it and maybe pushing it over to another space. And then maybe the love seat needs to go somewhere else, and doing this whole rearranging thing. And it could be because if you're partnered with somebody, they're like, oh, I'm ready for change. Or maybe you are. And while change is not normally associated with Taurus, with this Gemini in the second house energy happening, you will most likely have a lot of activity and communication and connections with like tangible possessions, right? It could be that you are going out shopping and buying all kinds of luxurious items and it could be like little knickknacks or things that allow you to party a little bit. Gemini is very youthful. Maybe you're wanting to throw a little local neighborhood party and get your little pod together and say, hey, let's have chips and dips and salsas and all kinds of fun stuff. I can totally see that happening, especially with it being around your birthday time, that this is a great time for the parties, if you will. Also, I would say with that second house being energized, you may be looking at some other streams of income. It could be that there's a little side business that you start, or you are taking on a lot of tasks at your current place that you gather income, and it provides you with greater sense of value. You start to have someone come in and say, beautiful Taurus, this is why I love you so much, and I just want to express this to you. So there's a lot of expression around that. And it also has a good indication here that you may decide to look at gathering your values and looking at them and saying, these work, and here's another one, and here's how I can share them with my closest people. I would also say that beginning of the month into the middle of the month, you may be planning on a short trip somewhere because you're getting paid for it. Maybe there's a retreat that you're putting on. Maybe there is a little excursion, if you will, that you're going and you're teaching, and it's just a small little group, but it's not far. Maybe just a town away, or maybe it's in your local town where people are coming to you and you're expressing your wisdom and you're expressing yourself maybe in an acting kind of way or a teacher role, because I do feel as though you're still being activated with sharing all this wisdom and all this knowledge and information that you've been learning over the last several months and maybe even years. And so this, now you're ready to share it and make some income off of it as well. We have a beautiful new moon in your sign. It's obviously in your first house. We're looking at that Taurus rising. And so it's going to make you shine. It's going to give you an opportunity, even though a new moon is a dark moon because the sun and moon are canoodling. And that means that the moon is not reflecting the sun. It's basically being eaten up by the sun, if you will. And what is going to happen, I feel, for a lot of you Tauruses, it's going to set you on your new path for the year. This is sort of your first moment of what do I want to create for the next year? And this can give you a chance to look at not only what makes you feel really good about you, but how you want others to perceive you. You know, if you want to be the gracious hostess or host, or if you want to be the actress or actor on the stage that people see you as being very, I think of Katharine Hepburn, you know, and just that beautiful presence, that grounded beauty, simplicity, and all of that. And that when you look at her, she's grace and she's ease. And I would say that may be what you feel at this new moon, is this graciousness and this ease that can come to you. And also, of course, relationships are always up for us. I sense that if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, or there's been one that you've had your eye on, this new moon gives you a chance to communicate with all that Gemini activity. It gives you a chance to communicate a little bit about what you're thinking and what you're wanting, and deepening with relationship in general. And that may give you the courage and the opportunity to put yourself out there a little bit more. Maybe after the new moon that it happens, when Jupiter dips his toe into Pisces, making this beautiful sextile to you on May 13th. It's going to be in your 11th house of friendships. This could activate that if you are wanting relationship, a friend may introduce you to somebody. It may be that you and your partner, if you're bonded, are expanding your friendships, or you're finding greater connection between the two of you because the way that you are involved in maybe an organization or with a group of friends. Jupiter expands. I love the 11th house. It's also considered the house of fulfillment of wishes. So all the hard work that you've been putting in, here's Jupiter going to expand it and saying, now you get to enjoy it. You get to enjoy it with those that you really care about. And it may also offer this abundance of people wanting you to participate. I will say the downside to it is you may get more offers to join a group or to donate or participate in something, because it's just this influx of, can you give me this, or please help with that? And I know, as empathic as you are, it's going to be hard for you to say no. So do be aware that with Jupiter and Pisces here for a couple of months before it retrogrades back into Aquarius and then moves permanently into Pisces later in the year, that you may have this feeling of like, I can't do it all, but I want to. So there's that. One thing I didn't mention at the beginning of the video that I'll mention now is we have Pluto retrograde. It went retrograde at the end of April. You may be feeling a little bit of this, where let's just use the example of people grabbing you, wanting something from you in need and help. You may feel inside of you with the retrograde planet that you feel powerless to be able to help everybody. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's so overwhelming. And that's where you can rely on your friends, or you tap into an organization that you're already part of, a group, and say, hey guys, I got this going on. I can't do it. Maybe you can help me out. Maybe you can help them. So it's a great way for you to be able to really look at where you do have power and control within yourself and the resources that you have, and ask for them. The other thing I love is that May 20th, as I mentioned, the sun will move out of your sign and into Gemini in that second house, activating even more of that second house energy, which is that income, personal possessions, values, how you see yourself. And so what this can energize for you is connections. And being able to, maybe you are wanting to bring in more of that income when it comes to communication, or in being able to help more than one person, and you're expanding some of your connections in your income stream. You may also find that there's going to be a lot of activity around maybe your transportation. It could be, like I mentioned, going out and shopping. I will say that it could be energizing you to say, I want to invest in this new certification or this new learning, and it's going to require more income for me to provide for that. Therefore, I can find something to support it. The thing I would offer is that you may be feeling a little bit like you're on your own at that time. And that's mostly because you've got this activation here in that second house, which is really about you personally versus having to tap into somebody else's income or resources. So I would say that when the sun is in Gemini on the 20th, and as it moves through Gemini into June, that you may be feeling a little bit more self-sufficient when it comes to sharing your ideas and your opinions and what you need. And that can bolster your self-worth. It can bolster your confidence in knowing that you're doing what you need to do. Also, those of you who may be looking at getting a job, maybe you were laid off or you're not happy with where you're at and you've been applying to other places, this is a great time where the communication, the offers, the interviews start to flow in. And yes, we do have a Saturn retrograde in your 10th house on May 23rd, which could slow some of that progress down. However, let me just offer that the Saturn retrograde gives you a chance to build things over time, which is something you're really good at. So I'm not worried for you, especially because 10th house is about status and public image. It's about the legacy that we want to leave behind, that sort of thing. And with this beautiful placement, that it allows you to reevaluate, okay, I have these options with income, and do they line up with my values and how I want to leave? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? How do I want people to see me? I will also say that you will most likely have quite a bit of spotlight on you second half of May. And partially because we have a Sagittarius full moon and it is an eclipse and it's in your 8th house, which is telling me that you may let go of one resource because something better has shown up. And this allows you to be able to do greater good in the world. One other pin on the map for you, Taurus, is that we do have a Mercury retrograde in Gemini. I'll talk more about that on my Celestial Wisdom videos that I do weekly. However, Mercury in Gemini, second house, you may be revisiting, redoing, regrouping around your possessions, your values, your income. So if you went on interviews and you thought, oh, I bombed it, I didn't hear back from that company, or I started this learning program and I'm just not sure if it's the right one for me, you may spend some time end of the month into the first part of June really reevaluating things. If you need to sign contracts during this Mercury retrograde, I would offer that you do it the first part of the month of May. And then if you can sit tight, and if it's let's say selling a home, which some of you may be doing, and buying a new one, get all the processes in place before the retrograde. And if you sign during the retrograde, no problem. Just get a second set of eyes, make sure you be prepared for delays, that sort of thing. And make sure that everything that you're buying, let's say you're on your shopping spree and you're buying that new furniture or that new, Afghan or whatever, that you want to make sure that you have the warranties or that you have the, let's say, cloth protection, right? Because Mercury retrograde has a way of being a little trickster. And it could be, let's say you have kids, they spill the red Kool-Aid all over the white couch, the brand new white couch. Well, if you have the stain guard, you can get it out, right? So it's those kinds of things that you just want to pay attention to. Doing the maintenance on the vehicles and before the retrograde, giving yourself a lot of space and grace. And also, because this retrograde happens in your second house, you want to make sure that your negotiations that you're making with work or income stream, that you're really clear on what it is you want, and that you're allowed to give yourself a little bit of space before you agree to signing that contract, or that maybe instead of the traditional 2 weeks notice, you give a month so that you get past this Mercury retrograde and you're able to have great clarity, because some of you may decide it's not really the job you want after all. Okay, Taurus, I really hope that this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment on these videos. I always enjoy. And of course, like I mentioned, please find me at jamiedawn.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Have a great month.